Apple has been in the mobile phone industry for 9 years now. Back in 2007, Apple introduced the iPhone, and now we're on the 9th generation of the most pivotal product of our generation. This is the iPhone 7, and I'm sure you've seen a lot about it in other videos, so I'll spare you a lot of the fluff that is usually in these videos. After over a month of usage, I want to give you my fair and honest assessment of Apple's latest iPhone. First, let's clarify what we're looking at. The iPhone 7 shares the same size as the iPhone 6 and 6S. A 4.7-inch display occupies the front of the iPhone, and the rear shell is made out of aluminum, though now in a new finish. There are two new finishes available, black, which is what you see here, and jet black, a glass-like finish, which looks absolutely mesmerizing. The antenna bands are more integrated and now only reside on the sides rather than across the top and bottom sections of the back. All in all, looks fairly similar but more clean than the iPhone 6 and 6S design. The internals of the iPhone 7 are also not a whole lot different. A new year, new chips, faster performance. The new A10 Fusion chip has admirable performance, more than you'll ever need for most things, and somehow Apple always tops the charts and benchmark scores. You're definitely not going to wish for faster performance on the iPhone 7. Now let's talk about using the iPhone 7 as, well, your smartphone, day in and day out. The iPhone 7 feels like every other iPhone. It's reliable, fast, and over the past month has seen a number of software updates that some Android phones don't see in their entire lifetime. The display on the iPhone 7 has been tweaked slightly. The resolution remains the same, so does the technology behind it, still an IPS panel. However, the color gamut has been improved to cinema standards. This makes for a more accurate and colorful display than the previous models. Is it a gimmick? Not really. When compared to the iPhone 6S, you can see a slight color difference. It's saturated just enough without being too bulbous. The display isn't the only thing that has changed. The home button has also seen a big change. For starters, I think we should call this the home pad? Surface, maybe? Because it's definitely no longer a button. It's now a solid piece of sapphire that just reads your fingerprint, and it utilizes the Taptic engine behind 3D Touch to give it a sense of pressing. The response from the Touch ID sensor is just as fast as before, basically instantaneous. And I actually preferred this over the normal home button of previous iPhones. Other hardware changes includes the removal of one I/O port, the infamous 3.5mm headphone jack, a big controversial move from Apple, but something I think was necessary. The only I/O on the iPhone 7 is Lightning, which means audio is through Lightning. Now, Apple does give you a pair of Lightning earpods and a Lightning to 3.5mm female dongle for those still embracing auxiliary technology. But the future is definitely wireless. Apple also introduced a pair of wireless earpods called AirPods, and for $170, they are the most expensive pair of earphones that you'll definitely lose very quickly. Also, the iPhone 7 and 7 Plus are the first iPhones to offer water resistance. This really comes at a critical time as well, since Samsung pulled the plug on the Samsung Galaxy Note 7. Software-wise, the iPhone 7 is running iOS 10. One of the larger changes to iOS in a while, but functionally similar to the last 3 years of iOS. The only big differences is the way your command center and notification center looks. Now, battery life has never been the normal iPhone strong suit. The iPhone 7 does have some marginal gains over the 6S, but you'll likely run it dead by the end of the day unless you're just a really light user. If battery life is what you're after, consider getting the iPhone 7 Plus instead. Now, I wanted to talk about the camera on the iPhone 7, but I'm going to do a combined camera video on both the 7 and 7 Plus here in the next week or so. So to learn more about that, check back here at the Phone.Dog YouTube channel or in the description below, where I'll leave a link once it's posted. Now, to wrap it all up, the iPhone 7 isn't exactly the craziest departure that a lot of us were hoping for. It's a marginal step forward, bringing in a slightly better design language, better battery life, and new hardware to keep up with the ever-advancing software that becomes more power hungry. Now, if you're thinking about upgrading, it's definitely worth a look, but you aren't going to see a massive difference from the iPhone 6s. Now, if you're coming from an iPhone 6 or before, the performance gains will definitely be noticeable, especially running iOS 10. So that's my review of the iPhone 7, a step in the general right direction, but not close to revolutionary. Hope you've enjoyed this review. If so, leave it a like below. Thanks for watching, and as always, my name is Marco Hanna, and I'll catch you in the next video.